Welcome to our podcast, Inspiring Living, with me, Mark Candelaria. I am an architect, blogger, traveler, chef, father, and husband. I am the founder and now a partner of a fabulous 20-person architecture firm specializing in high-end residential architecture, designing amazing homes across the country. Over the last 20 years, we have hosted tours to Italy, Spain, and soon the Oregon wine country. And in the course of all this, I have met a lot of interesting people who truly inspire me. Our podcast is about all the opportunities that are right there in front of us to inspire living. Yes, we will talk about architecture and design, but every week we will venture into all sorts of topics that will inspire you, teach you, and motivate you to inspire living every day. My guests will include a wide gamut of amazing people, from those in the design industry to clients to real estate professionals, chefs, artists, sports figures, and philanthropists, and people who just flat out get it. Sit back and enjoy, and let's have some fun exploring all the opportunities that are just waiting for us. Please subscribe and get ready to be inspired every week. Okay, as my dad says, here we go. Welcome, everyone, and thank you always for tuning in to our podcast. Well, it's been a while since I did a podcast, May to be precise, just before our first Candelaria Design Oregon Wine Country Tour, which was a total success. I want to thank all of those who came on the Oregon Wine Tour, which was our 20th tour overall. Wow, what a blast, and I cannot wait for our 2023 tour, as my daughter Tiffany, who put together this year's tour, is already busy curating our 2023 tour, which I am sure will be amazing. Okay, right after that, Isabel and I embarked on our fourth Candelaria Design Tour Spain, which was also a total success, with the exception of Isabel and I contracting COVID 2/3 through the tour. My partner Meredith, who was with us on the tour, led the travelers from Cordoba to San Sebastian, and Isabel and I hunkered down in our hotel in Cordoba until we tested negative, which so happened to be the day we were all to depart from Madrid, and at the same time they lifted the testing requirement, and so it all worked out, and Isabel and I rendezvoused with all of our travelers and returned home to Arizona together. No one else got COVID, so all ended in a good way. We never had bad symptoms or anything, so we just kind of hunkered down for 5 days and enjoyed 5 quiet days together in Cordoba. So it all worked out. Speaking of Candelaria Design Tours, my guest today is curating our first Candelaria Design Tour France. That's right. Instead of Spain next year, we will be taking our travelers to Paris and then the Burgundy region of France on what I know will be an amazing 14-day tour. My podcast guest today is Janice Rantanen, who also happens to be our Director of Lasting Impressions at Candelaria Design and our 2021 co-MVP, who shared this honor with Team Director and Architect Rebecca Rowe, who I also have recorded a podcast, which we will soon release, so stay tuned for that. Well, we sent Janice to France a few weeks ago to scout the trip, and she has come back all fresh and fired up about her ideas for this tour, which I know will be magical and definitely beautiful. In fact, if you get a chance, check out Janice and I on my good friend Renee D's podcast, Iconic Hour, where we were joined by another good friend and client, Jamie Lynn Fournier of The Collector's House, where we talked about living a beautiful life. Well, Janice definitely knows how to do that. So we'll put the link in the story notes. Give it a listen. It's a good podcast. Okay, I recorded this podcast some time ago and prior to Janice's trip to France. So give it a listen, as you will truly see why Janice is a Candelaria Design MVP and such a special person in all of our hearts. Here is our Director of Lasting Impressions and our 2021 co-MVP, Janice Rantanen. Our guest today is Janice Rantanen, our Director of Lasting Impressions, and also the one who has the fun task of coordinating all of the meetings, design time, site visits, client dinners, basically my entire life. But she is also one of our 2022 Candelaria Design. Actually, it's 2021. I'm rushing things again, aren't I? Well, maybe you'll be a repeat.
Well,
We'll see.
Let's see.
Our 2021 Candelaria Design co-MVP winners. And so today I've got Janice Rantanen here. Welcome, Janice.
Well, thank you, Mark. I'm happy to be here.
Well, this is so worthy of winning. I mean, the fact that you have to run my personal life, I mean, anyone that does that should get the MVP award automatically. So you do a fantastic job, and I'm glad we're going to get to do dual podcasts, one for you and then one for our other winner, Rebecca Rowe.
So am I. I couldn't think of a better person to share this distinct honor with.
Well, you do a great job. You both do a great job, and it is an honor to recognize both of you for this award, which originally started with Mr. Jeff Kramer. It's the Jeff Kramer MVP Award.
Yes, it is.
And we all know what an amazing guy Jeff Kramer is. So you're having to rise to some pretty high standards.
Yes, it's a tall order, no pun intended.
A tall order, for sure. Okay, so let's start telling our listeners a little about your background. Where are you from, and how did you end up in Phoenix?
Well, I was born in Michigan, outside of Detroit, and for the most part raised there. My dad was with General Motors most all of my life, so that caused us to kind of move around the country. At the time, when you're young, you don't necessarily like that, but I'm grateful for it now. So ultimately, we, as a family, ended up in Southern California, and from there, I moved here to Arizona.
So how old were you when you moved to Southern California?
I was probably a sophomore in high school.
Okay. That's when I moved also. I was a freshman in high school. So I was just trying to relate what that was like. And that's tough.
It is.
Because you're leaving all your teenager friends, and now you got to go to a new school with teenagers.
Yep.
And we all know how fun teenagers can be.
Yep. Start all over. In the end, it's good when you look back in your adult years and you look back at the experiences you had in moving around the different parts of the country. It was a great thing.
That's cool. Then where in Southern California?
Thousand Oaks,
Oh,
Westlake, Newbury Park area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
That must have been quite a change from Detroit.
It was. There were stops in between. We went from Detroit to Indianapolis to Colorado to my parents went to Utah at one point, and then California, and then I came here.
So you just kept moving west.
Yeah.
Wow, good for you.
Yep.
So then from Southern California, you ended up going to college out in Southern California also, right?
I did. I did a bit of time at UC Santa Barbara.
Which my daughter, Sophia, is very interested in going to.
Really?
Yeah, so you two have to talk to her a little bit about that.
Yes, beautiful place.
Okay.
College life was not really something I was cut out for. I wanted to be out in the workforce.
You wanted to just get after it.
I did.
That's really hard for me to imagine, Janice.
I really did, and that's what I did.
Yeah, well, me too. We're two
change.
peas in the same pod.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I liked college. It was fun, and I got it, but it was like, I'm wasting my time here.
That's how I felt.
I was like, I need to get moving.
I have no regrets, and I don't feel that it was ever a black mark on my
Yeah, so you never got
career.
a degree.
I did not.
Yeah, we're both flunkies.
There you go.
MVP flunkies.
I'll take it.
I'll take it, too. So then from Santa Barbara, you came out this way. You started moving back east again.
I moved. Yes, I came out this way. I would come in the summer, if you can imagine, and spend time with my aunt and uncle who lived here in Paradise Valley. So I was familiar with the area. I felt like I had family here, so there was a little bit of comfort to move here. It's time to, move out on your own, and this is where I came.
Yep. So how old were you roughly?
I was 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like Bella, now moving to LA, trying to get started. It's hard.
Yep.
It's really hard.
Yep. Got a little condo down in Tempe, and I was off and running. Found a job at Ence White.
Uh-huh.
And
so now, those of you who were here in the early 80s, I'm not trying to date you here, Janice. We all remember Ence White because it was an amazing place. It was like those of you who've been to Italy in New York and around the world, it was way ahead of its time, I think.
It was way ahead of its time.
Way of its time. Food, it had hardware, it started as a hardware store, right?
It started as a shutter manufacturer.
Okay.
Ence Boyce, it was called, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then under the tutelage of Jack Ence, became so very much more. It was very diverse. It was very creative. Everything you ever needed for the home, gourmet, bed and bath, still had the lumber yard, shutters.
And there was food too, wasn't there?
There was a partnership ultimately with Carol Steele.
That's right.
And it was just a wonderful, wonderful place. And
it was fantastic.
My plan was if I could find a job here in Phoenix, I would stay. And I rolled into Ence White one day. I interviewed with Jack Ence and one of our clients, Sue Ross.
You can say her name. Sue Ross is a wonderful client, wonderful lady.
Yep.
Isn't it funny how these things all come full circle?
Very, very much so.
Yep.
So they hired me, and I was just in my element. I loved it. Worked in a variety of departments, and then ultimately did the visual displays for the store.
And that was something that resonated with your soul, didn't it?
Very much so.
And you still love doing that sort of thing.
Very, very much so.
Well, you've adapted that to all of our events and how you stage them and put them together and choreograph them. You did a fantastic job. So
Thank you.
I think all those skills came in great. They came to serve you in a great way.
They have.
Right?
And continue to do so.
And so you really have an eye for design. I mean, I think it's interesting that you were hired here to kind of be our assistant and schedule our meetings and kind of help Evelyn run the office. But it is really transformed to where we do call you our director of lasting impressions.
Yes.
And so talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, I was
mean, when
at
you started here, sorry to interrupt you. When you started here,
Yeah.
the interview was just like I said, right? It was.
Well, I came in the old-fashioned way. I cold called one day in the middle of the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And, I have a real estate background, so I was looking for anything on the outskirts of the real estate world, whether it was landscape architecture, home architecture, design, just anything within the broad scope of home building.
Right.
And so, I really went through Phoenix Home and Garden. Shout out to John Rourke.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at ads. And, of course, I knew of Candelaria Design from my real estate days. And I cold called one day in the middle of the summer in August, and you weren't hiring. Left my resume the old-fashioned way, and I heard nothing. So one night, in the middle of the night, many months later, I saw an ad online, searching. That was it. Came the very next morning, spoke to the gal at the front desk, left my resume again, and this time you were in need of someone, and I heard from Evelyn.
And here you are.
And here I am. The process
I think we hired
started.
you pretty quickly.
I interviewed twice. First time with Evelyn, and I had great vibes from that. And I remember to this day her saying to me, "I'm afraid you would be bored here." Simply due to the position that they were looking to fill.
Right.
And I said, "Evelyn, I can tell you right now, by just being in the four walls, I will not be bored here. I will always find something to do. This is my place.
Yep.
I know it." So that led to a second interview that you were a part of.
Right.
And that was on a Friday. And on Monday, I joined the family.
There you are. And here you are since then. Now, how long ago was that already?
I've just started my fourth year with the firm.
It goes fast, doesn't it?
It goes fast. And started in a very, very different capacity from where I am now.
Yeah.
So it morphed quickly. And I felt that it would. I just knew that I needed to get a foot in the door and become a part of this group.
Well, we're talking about morphing some more, aren't we?
We are.
Don't you love that?
I do.
See,
I
and
love
that's
the
always
diversity.
That's always my philosophy is, get good people on the team and then really find out what resonates with their soul and where they want to go and let the whole firm just kind of migrate to the people that you've brought on the team,
Yes.
And so I'm very excited about what you want to do because it's always been a passion of mine also. And that's lifestyle, travel, the home,
Absolutely.
how we live. And it's inspiring living.
It's inspiring living. It's a
Right?
very diverse group of wonderful, inspiring elements that we
Right.
encompass here. Not just architecture of homes. It's really an architecture of beautiful lifestyle.
Right, exactly. So let's jump back a little bit because I skipped around here,
Yep.
which I'm known to do.
All right.
So after Ends White, you migrated into a different aspect and different part of the world out there.
I did, and I referenced that a bit. That was a real estate career,
Mm-hmm.
and I joined Russ Lyon Realty Company, which,
Okay.
is, of course, most of us here in Arizona know is now Sotheby's,
Right.
Russ Lyon.
Well, I remember their great billboards.
Oh, yes, 44th and Camelback.
44th and Camelback, and they had a
Yes.
nice one at 24th and Camelback for a long time
Yep.
in the early 80s.
Those were award-winning billboards for sure.
Yeah,
with
they would always have the lion on the billboard. If the lion, if the economy was great, the lion looked strong and bold.
Yes.
And if the economy was horrible, the lion was upside down and kind of like crying. It's
Very, very creative
they were
billboards.
very creative.
Yes,
They caught your attention for sure.
certainly did. And
So you did real estate for a while.
I did. I was really proud to be a part of Russ Lyon. I was the youngest associate they had ever hired.
Wow.
And I think that probably still remains. Although I look at some of the agents downstairs as I come to work in the morning, and it's definitely a different look and feel these days. But that was a great career. I was part of the Evans Withicombe team.
So let me
and-
ask you this question. Sorry to interrupt you again. When you were with Russ Lyon, were you at the office over there at Lincoln and Scottsdale Road?
I was.
Do you know who designed that office?
Bill Toll?
George Christensen.
Really?
Yep.
I did not know that.
My mentor. Yep.
That is wonderful.
See the energy?
Yeah, for sure.
There it is. Yep.
That was back in the day when Denny Lyon was still in that office.
And George and him were very good friends.
Those were great, great days.
Yep.
Another great group of people to work with.
So you were there for how long?
I was there probably, maybe 5 years or so. And I was recruited away from Russ Lyon by Bill Cleverly at Monterey Homes, which is now Meritage Homes.
Okay.
And that started a 10-year wonderful career in home building, semi-custom home building. So that really gave me my passion for home design. It gave me a broad base of knowledge in building homes. At the time, they were the premier semi-custom home builder. So I was fortunate. I worked very hard for the company, and I was fortunate to sell their premier communities.
Nice.
And I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
That's awesome. So, but you still had that yearning for curating antiques.
Yes.
And garden items. So talk about that.
I did. So my real estate career at that point had been, pushing 20 years. And I was itching to make a change. And I had always wanted to open a store. So I thought, I'm going to do this. I'm going to open a home and garden store. And I did, down on First Avenue. It was called Harmony. And it too was a wonderful place. American Farm Antiques. I would go antiquing twice a year to Texas and drive a truck around the muddy fields and curate great things. And go to New York a couple times to kind of add to and embellish upon that and offer a wider variety of items. So that was great. That was 7 years I was able to
that's good.
To indulge.
That's tough.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was great.
I mean, Isabel obviously had her store, Earth and Images, which then transformed to her studio.
Yes.
And I just know from the time, when I met her, the economy was just absolutely horrible. And it was like, she wasn't selling anything because no one was buying anything.
Yeah.
And so it's a tough business.
It is tough. I was single, and it's tough. You know, you have to support the business. You have to support yourself. So, you make changes. I was able to indulge my passion. I still love retail. I love going to New York simply to just wander.
You were just there, right?
I was. And it's just... It's a passion that I have, and it's probably a passion that will never leave.
Well, like I said, we want to try to adapt some of that and capture some of that passion and see what we can start doing with it.
Perfect.
So you love to travel, too.
I do.
So you were just in New York, as you said. How was New York?
New York was great.
Because you were there before Omnicron, or wherever the hell they call it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was there for...
so it was
right
starting.
after.
It was starting to rev up a little bit.
Exactly.
But now I watch CNBC every morning, and it looks like it's kind of died down again now with Omnicron.
Well, let's hope. But I was there right after Thanksgiving to take in the holiday spirit. We timed it just right. We were very safe. We played it safe, and we were able to indulge and enjoy and see all of the holiday.
I've been there. Then it is really fun.
It's magical.
See the tree at Rockefeller Plaza, and it's just the way it's so beautiful.
Yep. It's magical, and I hadn't been able to go for 2 years because of the pandemic, so it was nice to get that little dose back in again.
And then we're giving you another dose in about a month and a half.
We are, aren't we?
We're going back to New York for the Gold List Awards.
Yes, for Lux.
Yeah, for Lux Magazine.
Absolutely.
So that'll be fun. You're coming.
Yes.
I think Isabel's coming, and Tiffany.
And Tiffany.
The four of us, right?
So watch out, Manhattan.
Oh, boy. That's going to be
come.
wild. Me with 3 women again.
There you
Story
go.
of my life. Oh, so you like the Northeast, though. You like...
It's more than like. I love it.
Yeah.
I think I live here, but my heart and soul live in the East, and I adore it. I love the change of seasons. I love the history. I love the architecture.
So why haven't you moved there?
My life right now is here. So,
Well, we're glad it's here.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Certainly, I think as I age, I will migrate toward the East. You have certain commitments in life, and you have to be where you are. So I'm very grateful when I can go back and visit, and I do that every year.
So you like not only New York, but like the New Jersey Shore.
Yes.
And the Hudson River Valley.
Very much so.
And then I noticed on your bio here, you also like or have been to the up around Saranac Lake and
Well, yes.
at the Point?
Up in the Adirondacks. Well, I haven't stayed at the Point. That's a bucket list.
Okay, I have stayed at the Point.
You have.
The
I'm
people who
jealous.
owned the Point were my clients.
Oh, my.
They at one time owned the Castle Hot Springs.
Oh, yes.
And so they wanted us to go up there. And Jeff Innes, who's in my office, he went with me.
How
and we
wonderful.
stayed at the Point.
Well, that's a bucket list item.
It was incredible. I don't think they own it anymore, but
I don't think they do either. But again, the history that started out as a Rockefeller camp in the Adirondacks,
Yep.
the Rockefeller family. I've stayed
Lake
at
Placid.
I was just going to say, I've stayed at their sister property at the Lake Placid Lodge.
Yeah,
and
we went there.
at the time, it was just such an exquisite experience, and I'm sure it still is.
Yeah, I think we were there in February, so it was so
Ooh,
cold, and
cold.
oh my gosh!
I bet you had a nice crackling fire.
We
in
had
the
a nice
fireplace.
crack. It was such a service-oriented hotel
Yes.
that you'd wake up, and I don't know how they did it, but your fire was going. It's like someone snuck in the room and made the fire.
Your
Kind of
fire-
creeped you out a little bit.
Yeah, you have a basket of warm pastries at
Oh
the
my
door.
gosh,
And
it was insane.
yeah, it's a very special place.
Yeah, it was beautiful. So, what destinations are on your bucket list now?
Well, there's a wonderful place in Tennessee. I believe it's Wallen, Tennessee, called the Inn at Blackberry Farm.
Okay,
That's definitely a bucket list destination.
nice.
Again, a beautiful place, architecturally beautiful. It's in nature, has a beautiful culinary element to
Mhm.
it. So I'd love to make that someday.
That's cool.
And then certainly more trips up into the Hudson River Valley.
Well, and then I think we're trying to get you instilled in some of our Candelaria design tours too. And you and I have been talking about this for a couple of years now. Is our
Yes.
France tour,
Yes.
right? Which kind of migrates to our London tour, which could migrate to our Budapest tour, which who knows where that could all go.
It's endless. As you say, Mark, the sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit, right?
So,
but
yeah.
but the France tour is big on our radar.
France is on the radar. In fact, yesterday afternoon, my friend and I spent some time out on my patio,
Mhm.
and we have kind of an outline, an itinerary, and
Good.
infrastructure of the trip. So definite planning has started.
Awesome.
And it's a trip that'll start in Paris, and then we'll migrate into Burgundy.
The countryside?
To the countryside, the wine region. There's a fantastic cooking school called the Cook's Atelier
Wow.
that's just phenomenal, that we're hoping to do a program there. And then probably migrate back up to Paris again before we come home. So Paris is probably going to happen next year.
And we're going to try to make that happen. So
Yep.
the years come by fast, though, don't they?
They do. They sure do.
So this year we have the Oregon tour.
Yep.
Then we've got the Spain tour. And then we got the Italy tour in September.
Yes.
We've got to get you on a couple of these tours.
Hey,
just so
I'm
you
ready.
can see how the whole thing kind of vibes and feels. So
Exactly.
maybe we get you on the Italy tour. We'll see.
Well, hey, I'm ready. My
Twist my arm,
suitcase
right?
is ready.
Okay. So one of your hobbies includes collecting coffee table books
Yes.
and magazines. You even make your own sometimes, which I just saw the other day in your review, which, by the way, was fantastic. I gave you a perfect score.
Well,
so.
thank you. Thank you, Mark.
So, but you like making these little photo books, and we need to talk about that a
I
little bit
do.
with some of the houses and the drawings. And we used to do it when I had time,
Yes.
but we need to revisit that.
Well, let's revisit it. These
Yeah.
projects are all wonderful compliments to what we do, and photography is a kind of a little hobby of mine that I love very much. So but we'll just see where that might go.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So you joined us in what year did you join us in?
I just started my 4th year, so
22, so 2018, 2019.
yes.
2019.
2019.
Yeah, I was looking at the math here. I go,
Yep.
oh, and then I realized it is 3
I
years
know.
already.
Yeah,
It goes fast, like
it
I said.
does.
So with your company role, Director of Lasting Impression, I mean, right now you're doing scheduling, you're doing a lot of things.
Yep.
But we're talking about some transitions and some things that you might grow into
Yeah,
because we could get some of the scheduled meetings, I think,
sure.
right?
Yes,
Maybe
hope so.
not as good as you, but
Wow. Hey.
you're good.
Well, thank you.
You're amazing. I don't know how you do it, to be honest with you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
I mean, you could have a career as a flight control tower
yeah,
person.
well, I'll pass on that. But yeah, maybe we'll find someone to take some of my responsibilities and allow me to absorb some new responsibilities.
Yeah. So what are some of the things you'd like to do? We're going to put you right on the spot,
Oh
Janice.
boy, you sure are. This is not in the script, Mark.
No, I know.
Well, I think it's no secret to
But you
anyone.
and I have talked about some cool ideas.
Well, I love the creative aspect of who we are here.
Yep.
So the travel certainly, I think there's a lot that can happen to broaden that travel experience. Your book, we also all know we've got a book in the making, another one coming up, and I think perhaps a third.
Third one, yep.
So I think, maybe there's room to slide into the creation of the books.
Yeah.
That is a passion, as you said. I love beautiful lifestyle books. And the cooking that you do and the beautiful dinners. Who would ever imagine you could transform a conference room into a wonderful dinner?
You do it. You transform it.
Well, it's very collaborative, but you allow me to do it.
Yeah,
and
it is. It's so much fun. The clients are just blown away.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And we have the most superb clients that are so appreciative, and it's just completely fun. It's very fulfilling. So I think we're going to continue to broaden those experiences.
Yeah, and one thing I saw on your little list here is you used to do a blog,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so did I, and I've kind of let it slip a little bit.
Yes.
So I think you and I need to talk about collaborating on that. Maybe you, Tiffany, and I really get the blog going again.
Yeah, that could be fun.
I think that could be something we could between the three of us, we could probably generate enough content that we could keep it going pretty regularly.
I think so. Again, it goes back to the diversity of who we are at Candelaria Design, and it allows so much beautiful content to put out there.
Sure. Now, for sure, with these houses, I mean, it's incredible, isn't it?
Yes.
And then the tours, which you're just starting to experience that.
Yes.
So share some of the most valuable lessons you've learned during your time working in real estate, ends white, architecture. What have you learned from all this?
One thing, and probably the most prevalent, is just give people good service, good client service. Follow through on what you say you're going to do. Go the extra mile. It doesn't even have to be the extra mile, the extra half mile, because people are trained to expect nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So when they get the smallest little something,
It goes a long way.
It goes a long way.
Yeah.
And that's what we do here as a work family. We go the extra mile.
We try to, that's for sure.
We do.
Yeah.
So I learned that. I know the value of that. It's something I've always provided in my career, whether it was real estate, my own store, or working here, is just give a little extra tender, loving care to people.
Yeah. No, and you do it in such a courteous and friendly manner, and that's what I always love. And I mean, you've taken like our staking parties, and now I see other firms copying what you do, and because we post it and they see it, and so I think it's great that we're always kind of doing our best to be on the cutting edge, and we've got some new things up our sleeves that you and I have talked about. I'm not going to share them yet because I think they're some cool ideas.
Yeah.
So that's neat. In terms of life itself, though, I know you and I are both going through kind of the same thing in a different way with our parents.
Yeah.
And it's hard, isn't it?
It is hard, but you make it work. You figure out how to make it work. You juggle a lot. You have help from family. You have help from friends.
I have help from you.
Well, and I'm happy to be here to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So yes, we figure it out.
Yeah, that's what you got to do sometimes. And then I've got the kids to throw into the mix of it.
Yes,
so
you do.
Between the parents in the one end, the kids in the other.
Your basket's full.
My basket gets pretty full, but you help me sort it out very nicely.
I try.
So I hope you're hearing how much I appreciate that.
Thank you, I am.
Because it's absolutely marvelous. So what else lies ahead for Janice in the world?
Well, gosh, I don't know. I really am hoping this pandemic calms down so we can get back
to living life.
To living life in our work life.
Yeah.
And in our personal life, and we've really been impacted by travel, I think, and that drained me.
Yeah,
that drained my soul, not being able to
refill the tank.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I always tell people. Travel for me refills the tank. I see things, I experience things, and then I come back and I can share it. I can draw it. I can sketch it. I can experience it. I can share that experience. And that's what's so hard, I think, right now. I mean, it's not the same to virtual travel. I'm sorry.
It's not. It's not.
Or have a virtual dinner or a virtual cooking class. I mean, they're great and everything, but there's something about being physically with somebody.
There is. There's an energy. Just being able to go back to New York at Thanksgiving for a few days, I'll tell you, 72 hours was just
sometimes that's all it takes,
monumental.
Right?
It's all it takes.
Yeah.
I mean, you hit those streets, and I just run to take in as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And then you feel like, okay, I can go on.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I love the long weekend trips, like
Mhm.
Thursday to Tuesday. Sometimes
Yep.
it's all I need.
Yep.
You know, so I only need 2 weeks. I mean,
Exactly. You feel refreshed, and it makes you a better person.
re-energized.
Very much so.
Yeah, re-inspired.
Yes.
Right?
So that's what I'm looking for in life is let's try and get back to whatever our normal is going to be. But hopefully this is going to calm down. Everyone will do what we all
Well,
need
I think
to
we
do.
just got to get on with living our lives.
We
You know, we've
do.
lived with the cold, we lived with polio, we've lived with everything else in the world. It's like, you know what? It's always been here.
Yes.
You know, when the pioneers came across the country, do you think it was easy? Do you think they had no disease and no threats? And
No.
no, it was there was always been problems, threats to our survival. I mean, it's just that's
Certainly.
part of life. You
It
know, and
is.
for us to stop living because of that is it's utterly ridiculous, I think. So that's my personal opinion. I'm starting to feel stronger and stronger about that because it's just going on too long. You know, there's going to be something else after this, and there's going to be something
Yeah.
else after this, and
I
that's just how the world is.
I
You know,
know. I'm probably a
I
little
mean, there's an
more-
asteroid going by. You read about it in the paper every week. There's a asteroid the size of New York going by. Well, should I stay in my house and just cover my head? You know,
Nope.
no, you got to go live. If the
You-
asteroid hits, well, hell,
you
I'm not
have-
going to know about it anyway.
Yes, you have to live.
Yeah.
I know I've played it very, very careful, and thankfully I haven't been sick. I don't want to be sick.
Knock on wood,
because,
neither one of us.
Hey, we can't miss work.
No, we got too much to do.
Yes,
We got
exactly.
too many dinners to cook and prepare.
Exactly.
Too many trips to organize.
Yes.
So, no, you're fabulous. I could sit here and just dream of things with you all day, which we've been known to do.
We have.
We sit there and we go off on some long rabbit holes that are like,
Yes.
oh my God, what if we did this? What if we did this?
Well, that's what I love about you, Mark. Is the sky really is the limit.
Yeah, it's up to us.
It is, and as I said earlier, you allow me to do these things. I have the tools that I need to do these things. Evelyn has always been very supportive in what I need to create anything or any idea I might have to bring it to fruition. So
Yep.
this is just a wonderful petri dish of creativity here.
Well,
at
the sky's the
Candelaria
limit, as you
Design.
can see. I mean, Evelyn started as an administrator of this office, and she's
Yeah.
a partner now. So I tell people anything is possible.
Yes,
You know, you just have to make it possible.
and you mean it.
Oh, I totally mean it.
Yes.
So,
Yes, you
so
do.
in terms of the partnership, now we've had some change this past year,
Yeah.
which you helped us manage quite terrifically, by the way. What do you think? I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you think about where we're going? And then when we just made Tim a partner,
We did.
what do you think?
I think it's great. I think, change can be good.
Mm-hmm. It's about what
And-
you make it.
It is. And we have had some changes internally at the company in the last year. And I embrace this. I think Tim is a wonderful addition to the principal team. Certainly, I've absolutely adored working with him in every capacity. So I'm proud of him.
I'm proud of him too.
For this achievement. And
Yep.
I think it's great to have another male dose of energy in that group with Evelyn and with Meredith. And it's terrific. And it's great to see the promotion from within the company.
Right.
For those of us that, this is
Oh,
this
Tim's
is
been-
my career for me.
Tim's been with us
I wanna
16
be here.
years.
Yeah.
So he deserves it. And it's
Exactly.
great to have that type of energy. He's such an energetic guy. I mean,
He
he's
is.
funny. He's got a great personality.
Yep.
He works hard. He's a great dad now. I mean,
Yes.
it's been fun for me to watch him grow.
Oh, I bet. From a single fellow to married,
Yeah.
and now with sweet little Maverick, and now taking a great role in our leadership team.
Exactly. So, well, this has been so much fun.
It has.
I am so proud of you,
Thank you, Mark.
and I look forward to all the things that we're going to be doing together. So,
I do too.
I hope this goes for a long time. I hope you don't have any more desire to go to the East Coast. Just go visit it once in a while,
Okay.
and then stay here, and maybe we'll open an East Coast office. Who
Hey,
knows?
sign me up.
You never know.
Sign me up. As long as I can do my trips to go back there and
Get your dose,
exactly. And
and
then
you're good to go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, and
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank you, Mark, very
All right.
much.
Hey, by the way, where do we find you on Instagram? You have a great little Instagram. I
Well,
almost missed that.
Well, thank you. This was a spin-off from my blog. I love pickup trucks, and I
Mhm.
love barns. That goes back to my East Coast passion. So I have a blog called trucksandbarns.wordpress.com is the my site.
Okay.
And Instagram is Trucks and Red Barns.
Yeah. So every time I go somewhere, what do I send you pictures of?
I get wonderful photos of trucks and barns and farmers market shots. And so I think everyone here kind of knows my love of quirky things.
And what resonates with Janice's soul.
And it completely touches me when I get these texts with these.
No, it's fine. I'll be walking around and go, oh, look, there's a Janice moment right there.
I love it. I love it. It really touches my heart when you do that.
We love that. So thank you again. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Janice. Your story is amazing, and I love hearing about the old ends white days I remember so well. You are truly an inspiration to all of us, and you have taken your position in our organization to such a high level, and it clearly shows that we all play pivotal roles in making our organization a success. Okay, Isabel and I are off to Lima, Peru next Monday for a 10-day vacation with one of my good friends and high school buddies and his wife, and we will hopefully be visiting with another high school buddy who has been living in Lima, so that should be quite the adventure. On this 10-day journey, we'll start in Lima, Peru, then head to Cusco, Machu Picchu in the Sacred Valley, and then back to Cusco, and then back to Lima. Yes, Isabel and I have signed up for a private cooking class with a restaurant chef in Cusco, so get ready for some new Peruvian-inspired dishes on our cooking show, which we will start up again this fall, filming some of our new episodes from our new Christopher Peacock Casa Candelaria kitchen. We have some more fun and inspiring podcasts in the works, including more podcasts with artists, chefs, realtors, branding experts, and our other Candelaria Design 2021 co-MVP, so stay tuned. We have a few of our virtual cooking classes coming up too, as mentioned, so stay tuned for those also. Okay, I want to say a big thank you for the subscribes and reviews. Please take 5 minutes to give us a review. And if you do, we will enter you in our drawing where you'll receive free round-trip airfare for our Candelaria Design tours. Seriously, you cannot lose here. So go right now and give us a rating and review along with a subscribe, and then email or direct message me that you did so, and we will get your name in the hopper for this drawing. As mentioned, we are planning Candelaria Design tours next year to Oregon in the spring of 2023, Paris and Burgundy wine region sometime also in the spring of 2023, and then we will start our 25th tour starting in Lisbon, Portugal, and then off to the village of Candelaria in the Canary Islands, finishing in Marrakesh, Morocco in the fall of 2023. How does that all sound? So give us a review and send me a message that you did so, and we will get you in the drawing. We do our best to inspire living in everything we do, from our podcast to our cooking classes to our tours, and of course, with our Candelaria Design homes. Okay, have a great week, everyone. Let's stay safe, and let's all live our lives with love, compassion, grace, and positivity. Thanks for the listen, and I hope to see you soon. Because Inspiring Living is all about the people and the organizations that inspire us, we are excited to have Monogram Appliances as one of our sponsors. Anytime we do a new kitchen or a kitchen remodel, Monogram Appliances are what we recommend to our client. Their appliances are the definition of luxury, meticulously detailed using the finest materials and an ownership experience that is second to none. This is how Monogram is always thinking ahead and inspiring and elevating the kitchen experience. Because at Monogram, they don't just elevate one thing, they elevate everything. I want to say a big thank you to my good friends at Stockett Tile and Granite Company, where your project is our priority. I want to thank the Stockett team, along with so many others who contributed to the success of our fabulous demonstration kitchen in our new Candelaria Design office expansion. You will have to check out online our video cooking classes, and our kitchen is amazing. I've had the pleasure of working with the Stockett team for nearly 40 years on many spectacular projects, and trust me, they are the epitome of excellence when it comes to tile, marble, and granite work, bar none. Their skill and customer service is impeccable, and the bottom line is they are just good people. I have traveled with and dined with and just had good times, both personally and professionally, with Dave Stockett and his lovely wife, Becky, and they are the best. When it comes to your next tile and stone project, make sure Stockett Tile and Granite is a part of your team. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. We encourage you to write a review, screenshot it, and share it with your friends. Please instant message it to me and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We thank you for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights to inspiring living next week.